It's a very special pleasure for me that we have brought this distinguished, diverse and talented group of people together as we initiate the advisory group on technology and creativity of the National Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council, NIPCAC. The technology and creative sectors have come to center stage in the Nigerian economy, given their actual and potential contribution to growth, to job creation, and to entrepreneurship. It's estimated, for instance, that we have generated up to $70 billion in IT investments, and that our creative sector is one of the fastest growing in the world. Both sectors also contribute a great deal in terms of employment and have contributed enormously to boosting Nigeria's global profile. The striking thing, though, is that the example of other countries shows great scope for expansion of both of these economic sectors. Nigeria is, for instance, still ranked at 134 in the ICT development sector, while the creative sector contributes just over 1.4% to GDP. In any case, the contribution of the technology and creative sectors goes beyond macroeconomic benefits to the empowerment of Nigeria's young working population and preparing them for the digital future, which indeed is already here. The advisory group on technology and creativity is envisaged as part of the Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council. The council was established by Mr. President in 2016, who asked that I serve as chair, and it brings together relevant ministers and heads of agencies, along with leading business people, in order to boost public-private partnership. This partnership is inevitable if we bear in mind that the public sector only accounts for 8% of national income. The benefits of placing the advisory group within the Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council is because the Council functions in a very dynamic, inclusive, and result-oriented way. It is also fairly well resourced by the private sector, which also means that we do not have to recreate new structures for managing the advisory group. The advisory group will enable stakeholders in the technology and creative industry to contribute directly to policy formulation, articulation, and the design of both sectors going forward. It will also bring together existing policies and ongoing work taking place at the ministerial level to the presidential level. It will enable coherence and signal the importance that the federal government attaches to these sectors. For instance, there have been several policies and interventions introduced to support the technology and creative sectors, especially by the Ministry of Communication Technology and the Ministry of Information and Culture. NICDA has a strategic plan with 7 sectors and has established an Office of ICT Innovation and Entrepreneurship to support actors in the technology sector. That office has programs like Startup Friday and Startup Clinic to promote and encourage fresh startups while interacting with existing startups to help resolve the problems and challenges that they face daily. The federal government has been working to promote the technology sector in Nigeria. In addition to the successful Aso Villa Demo Day and several other such initiatives, the government is creating and supporting technology hubs across the country. In the last 3 weeks, I visited a number of technology hubs in Lagos and Abuja, and also activated the technology hubs for the North Central and the Northeast just last week. Similarly, the National Economic Council has been seized with the issue of expanding access to broadband infrastructure across the country, including by reducing and harmonizing the cost of provision and also the cost of right-of-way. At a meeting which was held barely 2 weeks ago, the National Economic Council, which includes all governors, the governors of the 36 states, several far-reaching resolutions were reached about bringing down the cost of providing broadband infrastructure in individual states and attempting to streamline the types of charges that those who provide these types of services have to incur. With regard to the creative industry, the federal government also recently took action to include the sector among those that would benefit from pioneer status. Efforts are also underway to tackle piracy in terms of intellectual property and copyright, and to secure financial resources to support the sector, and also enable the building of required infrastructural facilities. The Bank of Industry already has the 1 billion Nolly Fund to support film production. Such ongoing work demonstrates the interface between the technology and creative sectors, especially with regard to financing, infrastructure, policy and regulation, etc. Moreover, both sectors are increasingly using the same media and infrastructure. Using an application to facilitate financial payments or to watch a movie require both power and broadband facilities. My expectation is that the work of the advisory group must add value to existing policies by coming up with an inclusive and all-embracing roadmap for promoting the technology and creative sectors so that they can create jobs, contribute to growth, and improve the well-being of Nigerians. The advisory group could also help to increase the opportunities available to Nigerians to contribute to and excel in these sectors. In conclusion, may I say that the quality of what we do in this advisory group, our resourcefulness and our diligence, will define the future of these two sectors in the coming years. It is now my very special privilege and pleasure to inaugurate the Advisory Council on Technology and Creativity of the Nigeria Industrial Promotion and Competitiveness Advisory Council. Thank you very much.